Okay, so if we are talking about endosperm development, let us first see endosperm itself. So if we are talking about endosperm, what we are saying, what is the function of this endosperm? First we'll see what is endosperm. It is a product of triple fusion. I will explain you what is this triple fusion means, because yesterday I have not used this particular term. So it is a product of triple fusion which is developed from which is developed from central cell and male gametes. Now, talking about central cell, if you remember, they have two nucleuses. Okay, they have two nucleuses, and you have one nucleus which is of your male gamete. Now, before the male gamete fuses, these two nucleuses fuse with each other to form definitive nucleus. Now this definitive nucleus fuse with the nucleus of male gamete, and because we are seeing the fusion of three different nucleuses, so we call it a triple fusion. And when we are talking about this particular endosperm, the endosperm basic function is to provide nutrition to developing embryo. Okay, its basic function is to provide nutrition to developing embryo. That's why when we are saying we have triple fusion resultant, this particular cell is triploid in nature. So now a question which usually comes, and which is not a part of this one, but we need to understand, sometimes they ask you about the endosperm of a gymnosperm. So if I am talking about endosperm of a gymnosperm, what will be the ploidy level?
Haploid.
It was haploid in nature. Remember that. So that is something which we need to understand. Although it's not a part of sexual reproduction, but that is an important question which will be there from endosperm. Isko likh lenge. So what we're gonna see here is we're gonna take some examples and we will try to understand what kind of endosperm which is present in them. So see, whenever we talk about plants like rice, okay, plants like maize, okay, in wheat, we have this starchy endosperm which is present. Okay, in case of maize, we have an extra layer basically, and this layer is known as alluring layer, and this is something which will be asked in questions. What is this alluring layer? This is proteinaceous endosperm. This is proteinaceous endosperm. Then we have castor, we have coconut. They have this oily endosperm in their cases. Now we talk about plants like date plants. There it is made up of hemicellulose. Okay, now we talk about palm plant. There it is made up of cellulose. So these are different plants which have different nature of their endosperm. Now we also see there, in case of your particular date plant only, this particular endosperm is very hard in nature. So we have a plant which is under date known as Phoenix dactylifera. Okay, if we are looking at this plant, it's called date palm. Okay, this is ivory palm. They are different palm plants. So if we talk about this date palm plant, and if we talk about plants like betel nut, in their seeds what you will find is they have a stony endosperm. Okay, what we're gonna get here is we're gonna get stony endosperm in nature. Okay, so these are your different types of your particular endosperm which is there. Even if we talk about plants like Oinothera, what we will see here is we have a diploid endosperm. इनके केस में हमको क्या मिलता है सर? Diploid endosperm देखने को मिलता है सर. If you as a whole, if you talk about dicot, what will happen? Initially they have this particular endosperm, later it is utilized. So what we say, it is absent there in case of your dicots. Clear hai babu? How? Okay, it is present initially. Okay, it is present initially and is utilized by embryo during development. तो बेसिकली एब्सेंट क्यों होता है? क्योंकि वो पूरा का पूरा यूटिलाइज कर लेता है एम्ब्रायो ड्यूरिंग इट्स डेवलपमेंट. तो जैसे डेवलपमेंट खत्म होगा वैसे ही हम लोग क्या देखेंगे कि आपका पार्टिकुलर एंडोस्पर्म भी खत्म हो जाएगा. सो द नेक्स्ट पोर्शन विच विल बी लुकिंग एट इज मोड ऑफ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एंडोस्पर्म, और वी कैन से डेवलपमेंट ऑफ endosperm, and this is something from where one of your question is confirmed. If they are giving you a question from endosperm, they will give you a question from this portion. Now we have basically two different modes of your particular endosperm development. What are these two different modes? One is called cellular mode and another is called free nuclear mode. Now what happens? This is a cell, and see, I'm gonna label it two different names. This is called PEC, and this part at the center, the nucleus, is called PEN. What is this PEC and PEN? PEC means primary endospermic cell, and PEN means primary endospermic nucleus. Now here also you will say the same structure. Now both the cell will undergo mitosis. Okay, they will undergo mitosis, and here the mitosis is spatial because only karyokinesis will take place. Now as a result of only karyokinesis, what you will get? Inside a single cell, you will see the formation of multiple nucleases. So if this kind of development is taking place, then we call it your particular free nuclear endosperm. Now here the example is very important. Whenever we talk about the example of this one, this is your example of coconut water. So the watery part of your coconut is basically a free nuclear endosperm. Now whenever we talk about cellular, what happens? Here also there will be mitosis, but this mitosis will undergo both karyokinesis and cytokinesis. One second. कि यहां पर हमारा क्या होगा? कैरियोकाइनेसिस और साइटोकाइनेसिस हम लोगों को दोनों देखने को मिलेगा. तो क्या होगा सर? पहले एक सेल से दो सेल बनेंगे. Now these cells will further divide, and at the end of the day what you will get? You will get a mass of cell. Okay, inside which many different cells will be present. So if you are getting an endosperm as a resultant of your both cytokinesis and karyokinesis, then what we'll say? That this is called cellular endosperm. So this is your cellular endosperm. Now if I am looking at this cellular endosperm, what do we see here is the example is the white edible part of coconut. So if we are talking about example cases, we have this example. Now leaving this, we have other examples also, but this example are the most important one because this will be something which will be coming in question. Free nuclear endosperm, what will be the other example? You can get example of cotton. You can get example of maize. Here you can get example of plants like petunia, which will be your other examples. So this is example of cellular and free nuclear endosperm. Let's see types of seed, or we can say fate of endosperm. Okay, so we are talking about fate of endosperm, or we can say the type of seed. So there are seeds in which, what we say, there are seeds in which endosperm get completely utilized during embryo development. Now this kind of seeds, if we are talking about, is called non-endospermic seed. इनको हम क्या बोलते हैं सर? Non-endospermic seed. Now these seeds are also given the name called non-albuminous seed. Now here we need to understand something, sir. Example, if you are looking at, it's dicot. Now what we have, one example called your orchid seeds. Okay, orchid seeds being monocot, they, what are they? They are monocots, sir. So monocot, they especially have endosperm, but what we see here, endosperm is absent. So they do not have endosperm in their cases. Now we have another group of seed which is known as your endospermic seed. What do we see here is, in this are seeds in which endosperm persist even after the seed is, or even after the, not seed is, even after the embryo is developed. Okay, what we are saying, even after the embryo is developed. Now this kind of seeds is known as albuminous seed. इनको क्या बोलते हैं सर? Albuminous seed बोलते हैं. Example, obviously the monocots, but along with monocots, what do we see? We have castor. Okay, in there mostly what happened, the endosperm persist, and this endosperm is what? This endosperm is oily in nature, which we have just seen. So these are the fate of endosperm in case of different seeds.